is Yahweh, and we are co-owners of Always Bookkeeping. Today on our video, we're going to talk about how you can manage your payroll. So the quote that we have today is from Atal Gawande, who's the author of the Checklist Manifesto. And he says, we always hope for the easy fix, the one simple change that will erase a problem in a stroke. But few things in life work this way. Instead, success requires making 100 small steps go right, one after the other. No slip-ups, no goofs, everyone pitching in. So the statistic that we have today is from the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics. And it says that the average employee stays with an employer for 4.6 years, and the average millennial stays with an employer for 2.3 years. So new business owner, they want to scale the business, but they don't have a payroll process in place yet. So we have a few questions to ask about how to manage your payroll. So Yahweh, what do I need to get from my employees?
Well, from the very basic, you need their social insurance number, their birth date, their address, their personal information, basically. But a lot of the this is one of the things that always get forgotten by employers, even the bigger employers, is the TD1 forms, which has a federal version and a provincial version. So those stuff basically you need, if you're trying to hire somebody, we recommend that you have a template on place when you're hiring someone so that you don't forget anything that you require. And again, going back to the statistics, if the average employee stays for 4.6 years, and especially the millennials are entering the workforce today, such as me, there are more of them that will only stay for 2.3 years. There's going to be a lot more hiring that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So it's very important that you have your templates done, not only for the personal information in the forms, but also your contracts.
Yeah. So how do the templates help me with my payroll processing?
So again, it simplifies everything that you have to do each and every time. You don't have to ask questions to your new employees every time you onboard somebody into your company. You can simply give them the template for them to fill up, or it's easier for you on the back end as well to just edit some of the items that are needed to be edited for your employees, and not necessarily customize each and every little bit every time you hire somebody. With termination as well, it's easier for you to just have a termination letter that would be very effective, that would cover you in terms of the labor standards and stuff like that. It makes it a little bit more hassle-free to terminate somebody or let go of somebody if you already have a process in place. So yeah, I think that's some of the stuff that would really help you, or how the templates help you in the payroll processes.
Yeah. So can bookkeepers provide guidance on payroll processes?
Yeah, absolutely. For bookkeepers, we are the one who enters the employees into your accounting process if you have one. So we normally know what you need in terms of information from your employees. And if you have an outside bookkeeper that's not only doing your books and are able to look at other industries, they are able to provide you some guidance on the labor standards depending on your industries, because they probably see a lot more information, and they've dealt with the labor standards and the overtime standards and such from their experience with other clients.
Yeah. So how do I choose my cutoff dates and pay dates?
That it depends on the frequency that you want to choose on how often you want to pay your employee, we normally suggest that you have a week in between from the cutoff dates to your actual pay date. So a full week for you to process payroll. This gives you a lot of time to do your payroll, and sometimes you don't necessarily need that full week, but it covers you for items such as holidays, or if you need to close your office, or if you're having troubles with your software and stuff like that. So it's a good amount of time for you to process the payroll, approve them, or any other things that you have to do for payroll before you pay your employees, and make sure that the paychecks are actually accurate.
So can my bookkeeper help me with ROEs and other payroll filings?
I believe so. Most of the bookkeepers that I've talked to, such as Denise and I as well, we are able to do your ROEs, and most of the time we have enough information in the accounting software to be able to do those. Also, most of the bookkeepers will already have their username with Service Canada, so it's a lot easier for them to go through that and take that off of your plate if you have a bookkeeper. So definitely they will be able to do that. And again, the familiarity with the industries will be able to give you guidance on what needs to get done once you let go of somebody, or after you issue an ROE. Yeah.
So Yahweh, what software can I use for my payroll?
The most common ones are, well, first of all, if you have an accounting software that you can use for payroll, I would definitely suggest it. That makes it a lot easier for you to integrate your reporting with your payroll and see if, especially if you're doing costing. But there are specific softwares as well that are very, what's the term? They just do payroll. So like ADP or timesheet or T-Sheets, Clockshark and stuff like that. There is a lot out there, but I suggest if you have an accounting software, make sure that they integrate with it properly. If you're thinking of something else that you want to use outside of your accounting software.
And so is there any software that can help me track my employees' time?
Yeah, so one of them I already mentioned, T-Sheets. I also mentioned Clockshark. These are important tools. Some of them, if you are doing for example, if you're in a construction business and you want to see how much you're spending on a client, they're able to allocate the portion of what your employee work on for that specific client. That makes it easier for you to look at your budgets and your reports. Also, these programs are able to give you a little bit of an admin status where you can approve their time and check what they're doing, and if they're a little bit more advanced, or if you need a little bit more advanced, they also have the GPS tracking to make sure that your employee is at work when they're supposed to be.
Yeah. I think people get kind of nervous because a lot of the programs are, they work with your cell phones. And so people kind of automatically assume that, well, then my employee can clock in and clock out wherever they are. But I think they have, like you said, the GPS tracking in there so that you know where they're tracking, or they're clocking in at. Yeah, exactly. And also with it, I think too, it helps that a friend at work can't clock in for them, or clock out or whatever. They have to do it themselves.
Yeah, and there's a really cool feature in, I think, T-Sheets as well, where you clock in and it takes a photo of you. So if that's an issue, that's an issue. That's something that you might want to think about.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So you mentioned about being able to approve timesheets. Is it advisable to approve all timesheets?
Absolutely, it's 100% recommended that you approve each timesheet. Sometimes we get comfortable with our employees and we have a very close relationship with them, but it's always recommended to approve the timesheet. First of all, you are able to track any discrepancy. It doesn't only affect you as an employer from time stealing, but also it also protects your employees, because sometimes there could be glitches, or there could be times where they forgot to clock in, and you'd be able to communicate that with them, or they'll be able to communicate that with you. So stuff like that, and especially overtime, you are able to kind of limit who gets the overtime if you have more handle on the payroll, and you are able to approve each overtime in the time that they work on.
Right. Yeah. And that goes back to the templates as well. Having those contracts and making sure employees know this is how it's done. Yeah. So what's the difference between salaried and hourly employees?
Salaried employees are paid periodically at a set rate, while an hourly employee gets paid by the hour. Salaried employees are normally management employees, so any work that they do above the minimum hours that they're required to, they don't get paid for. As opposed to an hourly employee where they get paid for the hours that they work for. I think it's very important, especially for management, to be paid salary, because sometimes management position get the tendency to slack off, and if you're always trying to catch up on work, then there's something that needs to get done. That you need to finish, and that's part of the management responsibility, that you don't have to pay for extra if they're working as compared to if they're working hourly. So stuff like that.
Yeah. Something I just want to say about that too, Yahweh, is even if you have a salaried employee, they should still submit a timesheet that has when they worked and when they took vacation. I've had lots of clients who really fight this. Why should I have to put in a timesheet? I'm salary, I work from 9 to 5 every day. But it's not entirely true. There are days that you take off for vacation, and some of the issues that we've come up with is when they leave the company, if we've been doing payroll for them, we've just been paying them, and so now their pay stub says they have all this vacation time that's due to them. In which in fact they don't, because they did take some vacation time off, but we had no idea that they took the vacation because nobody told us. We didn't have a timesheet that told us that. And so I think it's really important. There's that communication thing again, right? It's really important to know, okay, you took this day off. Was it a day because you worked so many extra hours, or was it because you took a vacation time and we need to take that out of your vacation pay? Yeah. So, yeah. So how do I decide the right payroll frequency?
That really depends on your industry. I would say look at your cash flow and see what is or when does your cash inflow happen. Most of our, or there are some certain industries where you only bill once a month, and sometimes having a bi-weekly payroll will not necessarily be appropriate because there are 26 pay period per year, and chances are there's gonna be 2 months that you're gonna have to pay 3 payroll. So stuff like that you want to think about when you're thinking of your frequency. Again, when does your money come in, and when is it going to be available for you to be able to pay your employees?
Yeah, that's right. And so finally, how do I make sure I have enough cash flow to hire an employee?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's a very good buffer to have at least 3 pay periods, isn't it, right? Yeah, 3 pay periods in your bank account just in case something happens. It's very important just because sometimes the cash inflow isn't necessarily consistent and we have somebody that we have to pay all the time.
Yeah.
So to be able to have that cushion and not necessarily have this problem, have a strain in your personal finance personal finances, then it is important that you keep that buffer for you to protect your business and also to protect your employee from being affected from what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so I think that's all the questions that we have. So yeah, if you liked our video, just
click
like
and
it.
subscribe.
Yeah.
If you have any comments or questions, please comment down below. And we'll see you guys next time on our next video.